There's a new football game on the scene, but there's more to it than meets the eye. Rematch is the newest football game made by Sloclap, who you may know as the creators of Sifu. Well, now Sloclap are releasing their very own five-a-side arcade-style football game, and it's like nothing we've ever seen before. Well, the game looks great, it sounds great, but how does it actually play? Well, I was lucky enough to be invited down to Sloclap's HQ in Paris to play Rematch for the very first time and see, does EA Sports FC have a new rival on its hands?
Okay, the first thing I noticed about the game when I jump in straight away is the way it looks. Graphically, it's really impressive. It's nothing like we've seen with any football game before. The artwork on the backgrounds, the stadiums themselves, really futuristic. You have this like nature vibe to it as well, and I'm really liking it so far. Even the players themselves are a bit unrealistic in a way, but I like that it takes you away from that football normality we're used to with games like FC 25, these ultra realism games, and it makes it more arcade-like, which makes it stand out from other competitors out there right now. And interestingly, the game has been described to me as more of a third-person shooter, which is what the developers are known for over football games themselves. The way you shoot, when you have to, use both the left stick and the right stick on your controller, you have to aim, but then also use the right stick for the camera, which is a bit more like a third-person shooter. When speaking to the developers, actually, I was told that they've had pro players come in from the football game, the FIFA scene, the FC scene. They've had pro Call of Duty players come in, they've had pro Rocket League players come in, and interestingly, it was the Call of Duty players who reused the game from the go. They got the controls straight away, and they were better than the FC players, for example, even though it is a football game on the surface. Another thing I also like is the music in the game. The games are short, but the soundtrack in the background is based on how your game is going. So, for example, if the game's a close 3-3 draw with 20 seconds to go, the music builds up, it's really intense in the background, the soundtrack to your game this is. But then if you are, 2-3-0 up with 30 seconds to go, the game's pretty much done. It's more tame, it's more calm, it's not giving you that intense atmosphere which you might be getting in a real life game. I like the way they've implemented that into this. So I'm currently playing in a 4v4 mode. There's also going to be a 5v5 and a 3v3 online mode at launch when the game comes out. So this is just the middle ground right now, 4v4, but it'll be exciting to try out what those other game modes offer me as well. And if you're used to playing football games like FC or UFL, the one thing you'll notice straight away is that even though this is a football game technically, the controls are completely different. It's not R2 to sprint, it's R2 to shoot. You got to control the camera angle, it's third person controlling one player rather than a team, but it'll take you a decent amount of time, I think, to get used to the controls. I mean, this is my first hour or so, as you can see from the gameplay. I'm not great yet. It's going to take some getting used to. The controls are drastically different, but it's not something I think will put me off the game, and it shouldn't put you off the game having to learn new controls. They've gone from a different approach, not going the same controls as other football games like UFL and eFootball and FC 25. Instead, they have their own controls, and I think that makes it stand out a bit more. And I do see why there's Rocket League comparisons. For the sake of the arena itself, you've got the walls around the pitch, you've got the bigger goals, but that's the only comparison you can really make. It's a lot more fast-paced, this game, compared to Rocket League. You've got the basic football fundamentals with that extra flamboyant side with the slide tackles and the overhead kicks and the sprint boosts. I think it adds a good dynamic to the game. So my first hour or so in the game, the one thing I've noticed the most, and this is something which is pushed by Rematch for you to follow, is that working as a team is the most important factor. If you try and do everything yourself, you're going to be screwed, because they've made the game so if you are to try and dribble the whole way up the pitch, it's almost impossible because you're so vulnerable when you have the ball at your feet. You're encouraged to pass, work the ball forward, get a ball into the box and, hit a volley top corner into the goal. Goalkeepers are also really important in this game. They're like sweeper keepers, so you don't want to keep them on their goal line because one long ball and you're probably going to concede. You want to have them out of the box, pushing forward, trying to sweep up play and pass the ball around, work the ball forward, but you don't want them, sat on the line, otherwise you're probably going to concede. It's also really important to make sure you're using your camera and moving it around at all times, almost like you're a midfielder like a Steven Gerrard scanning the pitch, or an Iniesta, making sure you know what's around you, aware of your surroundings, because once you get the ball, you only have a short amount of time before you have to make a decision of, are you going to pass it, are you going to shoot, are you going to go backwards, are you going to go forwards? Because like I said, you're so vulnerable on the ball, you need to make a pass, a decision quickly. But I like that. It's also making sure that if you are teamed up with random people, unlike Rush and FC25, you know, you're not going to be stuck with people who are trying to do it all themselves. You're going to hopefully find players who are on the same wavelength as you, who are looking to build up from the back, play some nice football and score some goals.
As someone who's religiously played FIFA and FC all my life, it was quite the task learning all these new controls for a new football game, but honestly, hang in there and learn how to play it, because Rematch is one of the most creative and fun football gaming experiences that I've had in years.